G'day everyone, Jackson here. Welcome back to the daily endeavours for the 2nd of May. We've got a 15 seal set, but I just want to go through the Golden Pursuit first. So there will be timestamps in the description if you want to skip all this stuff and just get to one of the endeavours that you're stuck on. I'm not a big fan of the endeavours today anyway, but yeah. There's 38 options in total. You only need to do 25, so there's definitely some that you'll probably want to miss. For example, I don't really want to do a Battleground. I don't want to do some of these dungeons like Arxcrinium. Comparing this to Fungal Grotto 3 times, it's pretty different, the amount of time it takes to do either of those. And then yeah, a lot of these dungeons you can probably skip, because I find a lot of these other options are going to be quicker and more reliable. But yeah, there's a lot of choice here, which is good. So yeah, I'm in the process of making the video for this, so that'll be out in a few days, hopefully. Yeah, it's a lot to go through, especially with the dungeons. They're going to take some time. So I'll just give you like a TLDR of what I would do. I'd definitely do the quests, the rewards from the login, visit player homes. It's easy. You can visit your own home, and there's easy ways to get your own house. But yeah, if not, you can just use home tours and just travel to random people's houses, and that works too. Foes in Oridon, Stormhaven, and Eastmarch, especially with there are trolls in Eastmarch for today's endeavor that you want to do, so you might be able to get both of these done. But I would say do Domins for this, or do public dungeons, because they both count. And especially in Oridon, Eastmarch, the Domins are not too bad. It's just the trek through to get to all the Domins will be a bit of a pain. But after that, yeah, it's pretty easy. And if you've already done the zones, then it'll be pretty easy. It's just Stormhaven has one of the Domins in a fucking annoying spot, so I'd probably just go through killing random shit in Stormhaven instead. Because there's places which have like a lot of enemies, like the... there's the Golden? What am I talking about? The Cumberland's Watch. This has got tons of goblins in it that you can kill. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, goblins. So you can get that. These ones are going to be a bit annoying because there is one public dungeon in these zones, and everybody is going to be killing these things basically as soon as they're up. So it's just basically going to be waiting for these things to spawn and then trying to attack it immediately because it's probably going to die super fast. So you might not have much time to get it. Maybe doing the group events might be good. Though unfortunately there's no Allocate Desert one here, so the group event doesn't spawn super quick. But I mean, none of their group events are that great anyway. I mean, the group event here is it's easy to see when it's going to be starting soon. So yeah, these other ones, Del bosses, same thing. These are going to be even worse because the Del bosses are weaker. There's 6 Del bosses in each of these zones, but they're going to be stacked full of players. So as soon as they spawn, the Del boss is going to die super quick. So you basically just have to be fucking watching like a hawk the whole time. So yeah, I don't really like doing these ones. And annoyingly, with the last patch, I think it might be on PTS, so it still might be a thing. I'll have to double check. But they're removing the ability to... Because before it was bugged where if you attacked a Del boss and other people were attacking it, if depending on how many players were actually damaging the boss, it would count multiple times for this. But yeah, they're patching that out. So these are going to be painful. So Battleground match, not a big fan of this one. Same with the Endeavor today. You got to go to Battlegrounds, join queue. It can take a while sometimes, so I just don't really like doing this because relying on people. I try to do everything I can to avoid relying on other people because I find it's like kind of what Kay said in Men in Black. A person is smart, people are dumb. But in this case, a person is reliable, people are not. So I don't know. 40 fish. Relatively easy to do. What I usually like to do here is go to Stonefalls with the river section here and just fish there. And if I need bait, you probably need bait today because 40 is a lot. I usually go to this location here in Skystride Burrow in Bleakrock, and I just grab all the torch bugs that are there, and that'll give you a bunch of insect parts. You can do that the same thing in a bunch of other places. For example, in Austinium, Trader's Road Ration, there's a bunch of butterflies and torch bugs around that too, but it will take a little bit. You can just buy some bait as well. Like insect part bait is not too expensive. Yeah, there's a couple of ways you can do that. But that one's literally just press E on fish hole with the right bait, and press E when the when it looks like you've got something biting. But yeah, I'll go through that properly in the actual video. 200 kill first class abilities. I would say go to Skyreach for this, or one of the DLC public dungeons, because those are going to be less busy than the ones in Overland now, just because of how much stuff you're going to have to kill. You could do this while you do the dungeons as well, and the dolmens. The only issue is the kills have to be done with the class abilities. So things like proc set, weapon abilities and stuff like that, they'll take the kills and prevent you from progressing as much with this. So you want to avoid as much of that stuff as possible. Tribute matches, again, not a big fan. It's just like Battlegrounds where you got a queue for this. It's only one person, so it's not terrible, but this does require high isle, which not everyone's going to have access to. And the part that always annoys me about this one is you can't play against the AI tribute players. It doesn't count for this. It has to be, as you can see there, through the activity finder, which is only against players. So I hate it just on the basis that they make it more like they added these AI characters that just you can't use for this endeavor anyway. It's just a waste, I think. And then you get all the dungeons. Now, Fungal Grotto 1 will be the quickest, followed by, I would say, DC 1, and everything else is kind of similar. Arxperidium will be the slowest, I think. Where Sewers will be a bit slow. Elden Hollow won't be too bad, but yeah, there's definitely some of these you want to do over the others. And do keep in mind, when you're doing this, you'll get things like earning ranks in a skill line, and this one, if you got all max levels with all skill lines unlocked, like all skill lines maxed out, you won't be able to do this because champion points don't actually count for this, but everything else counts. So it says any skill line, but champion points don't count as a skill line, nor do levels. So it's only skill lines. So I don't know how you do this. Like, you've got other options obviously as a max level, but it always annoys me that these punish max level players for playing the game too much. It's a bit silly, but so, and then you got this stuff. You got Ethereum Archive. I'll probably skip this unless you go to Group Fun and there's like one up, and it's close to full, because sometimes for trials, especially now when fuck all people do like the old ones, it takes ages for these to come up. So yeah, I'd probably skip this one. Incursions and Dark Anchors, just do Dark Anchors. They count as incursions too. And I would do the anchors in these 3 zones first, so that you can get kills there and do 2 things at once. The Dark Anchors in Alakia Desert, they're always busy, easy to get to, because you can just join a group that allows you to travel to them and get the way shrines nearby. Yeah, that one's one of the best ones. Resources from the world, just run around as a fast character, just looting all the stuff you see. Just keep in mind, if you want to do writs and if you want to craft stuff, you can use the resources that you find here to craft stuff. But that being said, there's an easy way to craft stuff basically for free. You need 2 recipes and it costs a bit of gold to start, but after that you don't need anything. You can buy the recipes from the Solar Wings Tavern, and then you go over here and you loot this place full of it's got apple baskets and then a tray with apples and bananas in it. So I do that, and then I go to Imperial City and I leave, and it brings me back here and it resets everything. I'll grab it again, leave, reset, go to Imperial City, reset it, grab everything, blah blah blah, and then there's a cooking station over here, and then I just craft all the apple and banana recipes that they literally just take 1 apple or 1 banana, and eventually you can get up provisioning and craft multiple items at a time and just make it faster. And yeah, from that point it doesn't cost anything. So yeah, that's what I use. You can also use alchemy as well, because making poisons, that can be pretty quick. But yeah, I think the provisioning one's just so good, I wouldn't really use anything else. And it's basically the same as this, but you need to have it needs to be your home, so you need to buy a crafting station. The cheapest one I would say you can get a provisioning station for like, I think they're like 30 or 20 grand or something. So if you get 15 done and you unlock the gold, you could spend the gold on a crafting station and just put it in the free homes that you start with when you talk to Phil and Demarie. And you could just you could literally just do what you do here, except instead of doing it at that crafting station or cooking station nearby, you just do it in your house. Yeah. Look, I'll be going in the actual video that I do. I'll be going through each dungeon, so it's going to be quite some time before it's done. But yeah, so that's all you really need to know, I think. Yeah, as I said, I'll do a proper video soon. Alright, so let's get to endeavors themselves. 15 seals, picking locks, trolls, Battleground matches, Consumables, Master Writ, and 40 energy squad abilities. 2 Battleground matches. This is shit. Personally, if I didn't have any DLC, I'd do these 2. This one, if I can, and then I just if you don't have this, I'd just skip this one. This one's ridiculous. The problem I have with Battlegrounds is you got to join the queue, and like I said in the Golden Pursuit, this is entirely reliant on other people. If there's not enough people around for a Battleground, you got to wait. You can't just do one on your own or against one person. It's either with a group of like 6 or 8, I think, or like bigger groups for the standard one. So yeah, I just hate having to rely on other people in order to do a daily endeavor. I can despise it. So yeah, I'm personally just not even going to bother with this one. There's not much to explain anyway, because no matter how you do, it doesn't matter if you win or you lose. It just matters if you just get into the Battleground and complete it. They take about 15 minutes, but you got to consider how long it's going to take the group to form and for the actual thing to pop. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes, sometimes it takes 10, sometimes it takes fucking an hour. You wouldn't be able to know. So yeah, my advice is, if you don't have any DLC to do Scribed abilities, just do these 2. And even then, I'm not a big fan of this one anyway. Yeah, personally, I'd just do trolls and pick locks and just fucking call it a day. It's a pretty shit set, I think. Alright, so picking locks. This one's pretty easy if you come to Skywatch. If you don't have Dissuade Shrine, you can use Home Tours here and look up Barbed Hook Private In Room. This one. I can recommend it. It's always unreliable. Use some browse homes, don't use recommended if you want to do this. So yeah, just go to one of these, travel to it, and you go outside, you'll be right here, and you can just come up here, grab the way shrine, and then just do this whenever you want. So the reason we're here is there's 3 houses here, 1, 2, 3. They always have a locked door that you can pick. Now you can just go around finding locked chests, especially in public dungeons. For example, Forgotten Crypts is one I use quite a lot. But the problem is they're not instanced. If you grab a chest, someone else won't be able to grab that chest. So you're competing with other people who are going to be trying to do the same thing. I just find it's unreliable. But you can do that too. I will link in the description 4 maps for 4 different public dungeons that I usually use for chests, just because the area is quite small and the chests are quite the amount of chests is quite dense. So Forgotten Crypt, you've also got where is it? You've got Rezek's Wheel. You've got Obsidian Scar, which I'm pretty sure is the one for killing bosses. Yeah, so you could do them both at the same time, I suppose. So Obsidian Scar and Riven Spire, and then Western Sky, and we've also got Labyrinthian, which has a really good set that I like to use a lot. So does Forgotten Crits, but I like Venomous Smite. I think it's a really good set. That's good for damage dealers, just casual damage dealers, yeah, looking to just do trials and stuff. It's usually what I use. Alright, so the only issue here is the guards. You're just going to make sure they're away from the door. If they come up to the door, they will spot you. But once they get to the door and turn around, after that, you'll be totally good to go. So just go away from the door so that you don't enter by accident, because there's people in them, and sometimes they can get annoyed if you're in there. Just make sure there's no guards nearby. Now, if the icon at the below the pick lock UI there goes, yeah, see, so the guard was coming to the door. If the eye goes like half wide, like if it goes, come on. So if it goes, yeah, if it goes like this, then just maybe hop out of the lockpicking screen, because that means the guard is probably coming and they'll see you in a second. Now this one, I don't think I've ever had the guards come to this door, so this one's usually fine. There you go. 3 easy doors, and they'll always be locked, no matter how many times you do this. So, on to the next one. Okay, so next up we got trolls. Now while you do this, because one of the endeavors is killing enemies with Scribed abilities, see if you can use them too. The only issue is there's not many Scribed abilities, and not many of the AoE ones I think are very good. Alright, but we'll just talk about trolls first. So there's a couple of places for trolls. Unfortunately, there's no good dungeons that have lots of trolls that are easy to reach. So you're mainly limited to overland stuff. But there are quite a few places with trolls, and I'll go through them all. So Feloness in Wintersight, if you have access to Grantwood, this way shown here gives you easy access to a bunch of frost trolls. There's quite a few in here. There's probably like 10 or 15. So this is one area, and I honestly don't see this place used a lot. Maybe it's just that troll there, but I mean, it's right next to the Wayshrine. If I come down here, yeah, you can see one there, you can see one there. You can see a couple in the distance there, and there's some in the caves too. So there's a bunch of trolls here you can use. So if you don't have access... Come on. If you don't have access to this, quickest way, I think, would be traveling from the Wayshrine here. Use the Boatswain or use Snugpod, sorry, as a house tours house. You just hop out the front. You come down here into the Old Mary Embassy, and then you go through this way. I believe you can get there via this direction. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, or you can come around. If that doesn't work, try this way and then try this way. You can also come through if you've got the Marbrook Wayshrine. You could use Marbrook and head in via this way and just come down this way and get access to it that way. Yeah, either of those ways works. Now, the other ways, the place that like most people go to is going to be Darkwater Crossing in Eastmarch. I don't like using this one just on the basis that I swear fucking everybody is here. Everyone and your mum. So I don't like using this one myself because they're always fucking dead. Now, there's also in the Rift, this area here has a few trolls in it. I don't know if it's like a meme with being under a bridge, there's a bunch of trolls in the river. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this... Wayshrine, as soon as you enter the Rift, this one will unlock. So just come to the Rift using a house. There's a house over here, Autumn's Gate. Yeah, use that for home tours. And it's also pretty close to what you're looking for. So you could do that. One of the big ones I like to use is this one here. It's an unnamed area, but it's a Iron Orc fortress. So I'll show you this one, because it's actually really good. I'll just mention as well, Troll's Toothpick. I also find the same. There's a video that says I don't like to call people out, but there's a video that states that it's a guaranteed spot for getting frost trolls fast. I disagree. This place is so busy usually with other people trying to do the same thing. I'm never able to kill stuff fast in there. Whereas with the Iron Orc Fortress, there's fucking no one here. Yeah, so there'll be a few enemies at the gate you don't want to fight because they're not trolls. But yeah, you can see here there's a troll. It's also quite weak. Now, if you've got a Nightblade with Cloak, it's even better because you can just cloak past all the enemies you don't want to fight. So you can just only take worthwhile engagements, like with these trolls. So yeah, there are some trolls that are tougher, like this one for example. It's Craglon, so they're quite tough, but I mean, comparing this to one of those fucking Storm Atronachs and Bellscar's, nothing. These things are way weaker. Yeah, just run through for a bit. You will eventually find plenty of trolls. There's another one here. While you're doing this, you can take the time to try and get Scribed ability kills. I'll explain what to use in a second. Yeah, I don't know. Just don't want to do Scribing. Okay, so is there a reliable way to do this? I don't think so. Unless it's an instance area, like a dungeon, it's not going to be fully reliable. Someone like me could have the same idea and just go and do the same thing, and you could just be fucked over. Like, I don't know. It's impossible for me to say which one will work. But I think you have a better chance using Felonesti and using the Iron Fortress, Exarch Stronghold area, or the one here. I also don't find this one to be used much. But yeah, just your mileage will vary. I say will because I imagine some other people will watch this and try and do the same thing. So for all of you, I'm sorry if it doesn't work. I'm not perfect. If I could develop this game and make a fucking dungeon where it's just trolls and ice atronachs, I would fucking do that. Okay, so now I'll talk properly about Scribed abilities. I probably should have done this first, but I don't know. I guess I was too annoyed talking about Tel's attribute and shit. So the way this works is, if you, no matter how much damage you deal, like say something's got 20,000 health, if you deal 19,999 damage with Scribed abilities, but the one hit that takes them from 1 HP to 0 and kills them, if that's something else entirely that isn't a Scribed ability, then you won't get any, like, it won't give you any progress for doing this this endeavor. So you have to get the last hits with Scribed abilities. So that's why I say abilities that deal AoE damage to like big clumps of enemies that are like weaker is going to be your best bet, because you can kill things one at a time, but it's just going to take fucking forever. So yeah, and the problem is, yes, there's some great AoE skills here, like Elemental Explosion. Look at the radius, it's fucking huge, but the cast time is 2 seconds. If you get stunned or interrupted while that's happening, it prevents you from casting it. And in some places you get stunned and interrupted like constantly. So I just don't like, and you look, so Mender's Bond's not a damage of, like, it's not a damage skill. This one here is single target. This one here is AoE, but it's cast time. This one here is like hits a. This is the only one that I'm not sure about, because it's got a multi-target one. Where is it? Yeah, this one here. It says to enemies around them, but I have no idea what the actual AoE is, because none of the stuff the internet tells me. And I don't have this script, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. Yeah, I don't know what the actual range of the to enemies around them thing is. If it's big, I'd say do this one too, but I'm not sure. Vault as well, but Vault makes you move. Like, you can't just stay still and use it. So I don't know if this is great, because sometimes that can be not so beneficial. You know, you want to keep yourself where you are for other things like Ulsilds and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. Wheeled Soul is a single target spamable, is fine. This is the first one you'll get access to. Soulburst is one of the best, and Ulfsild is one of the best. I don't mind Trample, but I only really use it to start the fight. Because it's a cast time, it's 1.5 seconds, so again, if you get interrupted, it's just annoying. Torchbearer, no different, it's a fucking 2-second cast time. Ulfsild is instant, and Soulburst is instant. That's why I like these two. And then, yeah, Trample. The thing about Trample is, it says it's got a radius of 5 meters, but the mount travels, like, really far. Like, whoever you target, it travels to them and just keeps going. It keeps going for ages. That's why I like using this one at the start. You can also get it to apply vulnerability, or off balance, or brutality and sorcery, which might be good. Heroism, any of this stuff here, depending on what you got access to. Or Mangle. Mangle's really good too for little enemies, because it'll basically just reduce their health as soon as you start the fight. So yeah, Trample's excellent. The only thing about Trample is it's a Alliance War one, so you're going to need to level up Alliance War skills. But with the way that the daily rewards work, you will eventually just get AP over time, and you'll get to 5. 5 in Alliance War isn't too bad. As you can see here, I have not done much PvP on this character, and I'm up to 8. Like, I did a little during Vengeance, but literally like a few hours. That was it. But yeah, getting to 5, I think, takes like 100,000 XP, I think, or some shit. So yeah, it is a bit of a... It does require a little bit, but yeah, it's not ridiculous. Not like getting fucking Grand Overlord, which takes literally years. If you want to get your Scribed abilities done like quickly, there's a couple of things you can try. So public dungeons are going to be pretty good, especially something like Crow's Wood. It's got a bunch of wolves near the start that are pretty weak, and enemies in public dungeons are weaker than in group dungeons. But the advantage of group dungeons is going to be that they're instanced. So other players can't actually come in here and kill any of this stuff. You can just come in here and do it this way. The only problem with this is the enemy, like I said, the enemies in dungeons are tough. And yeah, there's with there not being many Scribed abilities, that can be annoying because he's going to spam the same couple over and over, and Scribed abilities don't have much healing built in unless you really sacrifice your damage. So what I would do is, the only thing I would really do for like actual dungeons is I'd do Wayrest Sewers twice. So I'd come in, kill all these skeevers with Scribed abilities, and then leave, and then let it reset, or swap to a different character maybe that has Scribed abilities too, and just do it twice. The amount of time you're waiting for this is probably 10 minutes for them to reset. There is a trick to resetting it quickly though. If you can find a player, assuming you're both able to do vet, the dungeon mode, you change it from normal to vet and it'll reset the instance. So that's something you can do, but yeah, obviously you need a player for that. But look, right, the amount of time it's going to take you to reset this is going to be, I would say, less time than it is doing one Battleground, and you got to do fucking 2. So yeah, I think it's not too bad. And you know, public dungeons, there's lots of public dungeons out there. There's lots of old ones too, like Rekindle left. You know, you could try a Spell Scar. The spell fiends there are not too strong. Same thing with Elenir, you could try that. Places like that. Places with lots of weaker enemies is what you want. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just show you a basic setup. So, All Seals requires Mage's Guild 5. Soul Burst requires you to complete the Scribing main quest line. And I don't think you should bother with this until you have these two, because otherwise, or at least Soul Burst by the minimum. Because otherwise you're just trying to kill one thing at a time. It's just not great. So avoid using anything else if you can. Maybe use one ground targeted weapon ability, because then you can get the Berserker enchant on it and increase your weapon and spell damage, which will help the rest of your farming abilities deal damage. But yeah, not great still. Like, you can put this down and then you get a bit more damage, but you do run the risk of ground targeted AoEs like Wall of Elements killing enemies instead of your Scribed abilities. So that is just, yeah, it's a choice that you got to make, whether you're willing to deal with that or not. Yeah, so we got halfway through that from just doing that once. Now, if you don't care too much about fighting tougher enemies, there are more enemies in here. So there's 21 in that room. So that's 25. That's 29. 41. So if you're as efficient as you possibly can be, including the skeevers in that corner, there is enough enemies to kill here with Scribed abilities before you get to that boss there. So from a single run, you can kill them all, but as you can see with the enemies here, they are a bit tougher than the skeevers are. They're about these like heavy armor ones are twice as tough, but that is something you can do if you're well versed with your scribing abilities. Okay, so last one that I'll talk about is Consumables Master Writ. So the only two sealed writs that work for this is going to be the Provisioning and the Alchemy writs. Even though you technically consume enchants or glyphs to put them on armor, they count as durables. It's never made sense to me, but that's the way it is. So the advantages and disadvantages between alchemy, because there's reasons for using both. So you need to go down to Master It here, and for Alch, you just need to put Alchemy in, and they'll show up here. And then for Provision, you just type Pro. Now, Provisioning, most of the time, these ones here, like Orzhog's Flood Price or Red Frothgar, stuff like that, these are usually going to be more cost effective. But the issue is you need the recipes for them. And in some cases, like, for example, the Orzhog stuff, you need Orsinium to get access to these recipes. You can't actually buy these. So, actually, hold on. Let me just double check that. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Yeah, no, you can't. Okay, so just check what recipes they are and if you can get access to them. But you do not, under any circumstances, want to craft shit like this. Like Orzoga's smoked bear haunch and citric ambrosia. These require perfect roe, which are not worth buying under any circumstances to do this recipe, because as you can see, it costs 25,000 gold. Yeah, so in that case, just make sure you go for ones that are like low Writ vouchers and not like ones that you can't access. So yeah, that's the main thing. They're usually cheaper, but they require a recipe. Whereas the alchemy ones, these can be crafted without needing any recipes, but usually they're more expensive than the provisioning ones because of this this easier access. And usually they require some pretty expensive resources. Like this one's not too bad. Scribed jelly's a little bit expensive, but not too bad. But yeah, you also need the recipe, the resources. Yeah, columbine, not great. Mud crab chitin's a little bit expensive. Obviously, you also need... Oh, fuck. You know what I should have mentioned straight away? You need to be level 50 in these crafts to be able to craft this stuff. You can't do it otherwise. So that's another problem. That's why I say if you don't have access to this one, because not everyone's going to have access to max alchemy and max provisioning. Though I would fucking highly recommend maxing at least alchemy, because there's a lot of advantages. Maxing both is really handy, but at least maxing one. Because provisioning, you can do the crafting with any skill one super fast as well. But just being able to craft your own food is just really handy. Because if you're looking for one specific that works for you, and you just can't find any on guild stores aside from people like charging stupid prices for them, at least you can go and get the recipes, like the ingredients, and make it yourself. Same thing with alchemy. You can make your own potions. It's really handy. And you also get medicinal use, which is good in combat because it makes your potions effects last longer. So, for example, normally a spell power potion, or in this case a tri-power potion, the recovery lasts 36 seconds. If you get all 3 points in medicinal use, it goes up to 48 or 46, which is longer than the cooldown of using a potion. So if you have medicinal use, it means that these higher tier potions are actually going to give you major recovery buffs all the time, 100% uptime, literally. Whereas if you don't, they only have I don't know what that would be, like a 80 or 70% uptime, maybe 90%, I'm not sure. But yeah, believe me, having 30% more regen is fucking life-changing. Really, it is for a character. So, yeah. Obviously, these ones, they only last 22 seconds, but these also go up in efficiency too. So, yeah, getting these leveled up is well worth it. Obviously, the investment is quite substantial, but the rewards are they're so good. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about here. Look, I'm not good at explaining Battlegrounds, so I don't think I'm in a very good position to be giving you tips on this, because I do it so little that I don't really think I have the knowledge of it, but not the experience. But there are people you can look up. I will link in the description some links to some people who know what they're talking about for Battlegrounds, I think, and some people. I'll link one for Battlegrounds to show you explanations on each of the game modes and what to expect, and then I'll show you one of just like general PvP knowledge and how to build for it and how to think for it, because it's a different ball game to PvE. The video comes out probably in a few days, and tomorrow will be Golden Vendor as well, so we'll have a look at what's in store there. But yeah, that's all for now. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always. I will see you next time, and take care. Oh, my cat's freaking out.